Welcome back to Peterson Auto. Today we're going to show you how to hone a cylinder. This came out of the DT360. See the front cylinder, piston, etc. is all missing. We'll see how well it picks up there. There you go. There's a whole lot of pitting, but it is very, very shallow. Kind of hard to hold this light so you can see it too. There we go. And it's very shallow. I can't get a fingernail to grab on that or anything. So what we're going to wind up doing is we're going to hone it out and see what happens. You know, usually anything you can't grab your fingernail on will hone out. So that's what we're going to do. I did order a new liner for this. They sent one for a 466E. Not exactly what I wanted. So we're going to go ahead and show you how to hone out this cylinder. And first thing you're going to do is obviously control your cylinder's movement. If it's a gasoline engine that's not wet sleeved, the cylinder is going to be in the engine block, and the engine block is going to be disassembled. DT360 being a wet sleeved engine, I went ahead and I pulled the cylinder out, and now we can set it on the bench. I'm going to use the vise to hold it in place here. Okay, that will work as the camera angle goes. Here's a good example of what the crosshatch should look like. Right down here, you see how it's on 30 to 45 degrees, and it's just barely any little hatch to it. However, the top part of the cylinder, you couldn't see that earlier because of a little bit of a rust in there. So I'm going to use my, there we go. Use my tool rest for the bench grinder as a nice little camera mount for you. See if we can get a little better lighting on that one too. Okay, it's about as good as it's going to get right now, YouTube, as far as the lighting goes, but looks like it's good enough to see what's going on. After you have your cylinder wall solidly located, take a little bit of oil. I'm just using some 30 weight I've had laying around for a while. I use for this kind of stuff. 30 weight's good for lawnmowers, and that's about it. You know, used in really, really old stuff. But I keep it laying around because it is great for things like this where you need oil for lubrication. So get that 30 weight up in there. Make sure you coat almost all the surfaces, or everything you can. Get a decent coating of oil inside that cylinder wall. See? All kinds of oily. So it's all kinds of oily in there too. Decent coating of oil in there is going to go ahead and lubricate the stones on the cylinder hone. So you really want to lubricate those stones, because if not, they're just going to like dig in and create way, way too deep of cuts, and they're going to load up. This fancy device here is a cylinder hone. There you go. Has stones on the end, flexible arms, and a little bendy spring at the end. Put this part in your drill, and the stones go into the cylinder. So I got my good old Ryobi here. Love this thing. Home Depot sells them on Father's Day with an impact driver for usually about $100. Got mine a few years ago for like $89.99, and I use this thing like crazy. It's my go-to drill. I love it. Has plenty of power for 99% of the stuff you do. And anything bigger, well, you got other problems. So the next thing is to put your stones, squeeze them together like you saw me do, into the cylinder, and you're going to spin the drill while working it back and forth. You got to kind of watch my technique, I guess, is the best best tip I can give you on how to do this. So the speed of the drill and the speed of the hones spinning and moving back and forth is all going to contribute to that 30 to 45 degree angle crosshatch pattern. So that's what you're looking for. That's what we're going for. I'm going to try to achieve that here. And, you know, we'll give you some little tips there on how this particular one works out, because this is a brand new hone. I have not used this particular one yet, and I don't know, other than medium grit, what grit the stones are. Good news, YouTube, is this is a fairly idiot-proof process. If you go ahead and you use the thing too fast or too slow, you can make adjustments as needed. Now, I got in here and did a few quick passes, as you just saw. We're going to try to clean this up and see how it's looking. Okay, so I'm probably a little bit off, but we're getting there. So I'm going to put some more oil on it and focus more on this top end. And actually looks like it's taking it out. So I think this is going to be a functional repair on this slightly pitted cylinder here. Oop. A little much. Like I said, you always want to keep it well lubricated. Too much oil is never going to hurt. Might sling it around a little bit, make a bit of a mess. It's never gonna hurt. Now, since I already have a coating of oil in there, I went ahead and just poured it in. I'm gonna turn it slow a couple times. As you can see, I just slung oil everywhere. Yeah, so like I said, you'll sling oil a little bit if you have a little extra, but it ain't gonna actually hurt anything. But that did seem to be working pretty good. Okay, let's see where this is at. Another horribly dirty rag. Looks like the pitting has been removed. Let's get a closer look in here. And bring you in. And there we go. So you can see that light little pitting has been removed. Put some crosshatch back in there. The faster the speed, the faster you move it back and forth, the shallower your angle. The slower you move it, the higher the angle. In this case, I'm actually going to go one more pass just to clean it up and try to get that angle back. Okay, YouTube, from this end, everything's looking good. And it's looking pretty good up there, too. So, we have about a 30-degree angle on that right now. We're going to call that good enough for government work. And I'm going to see if I can get this reinstalled back in the engine now. Start putting it back together. Because we have this huge rainstorm coming and my garage still floods because, as I mentioned in other videos, I have to take a little bit of time off of this whole YouTube thing to try to get that fixed. So, yeah, so that's how to hone a cylinder. That's all there is to it. You know, little tiny bits. If you can't get it with your fingernail, but you can see it, you know, hone will take that right out. If you have a fresh cylinder and you need to put a good hone on it, you can do that. There's different performance things you can Google, you know, that every 1/10 of a horsepower counts type of thing. Where, you know, your gains are minimal, but when you do, you know, 100 different things, it might net you 30 more horsepower. And on a race engine where you're limited to so much cubic inch displacement, etc., you know, those 30 little things to give you, you know, 10 more horsepower might be that edge you need. So that's how to hone a cylinder. We're going to go ahead and get you some more videos here coming up soon. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And keep watching Peterson Auto.